7th of February 2024. This is a loose cannon, and it's going to be a real loose cannon, and you must buckle up because it's going to be a rough ride. And I'm not going to try and be kind to people's egos and super tender emotions. It is election time, and let's get something straight before I start. There's 400 seats up for grab. Now just understand one thing very clearly. That seat represents, number one, a very, very obscene monthly salary. Measured against the private sector, those seats are extremely lucrative. Plus another obscene amount of fringe benefits, plus a good pension plan. That is what that seat is. But, and here comes the big thing, that seat also offers enormous opportunities for a lot of money. So, don't fucking bluff yourself about those 400 seats. The problem for those that aspire for those seats is they must get people to vote for them. That is the reality. They don't give a fuck for what your wishes, dreams or aspirations are. They're just after those seats, and they need your vote to get there. So, that's where we are. Then we look at the South African political landscape. Let me start with the ANC. Ask yourself, what has the ANC actually do to offer you a better life? The only fucking thing that they can hammer on is SASSA. But the reality is, SASSA is actually a scorecard for their failures. But that is how it is. What they managed to do in this 30 years is they destroyed millions of jobs. Millions. Just look at the numbers on SASSA and you've got a good indication of how many. Secondly, they destroyed basically all the fucking infrastructure that was needed or that is needed for a developed country or a developing country. The railways is gone, and that railway evaporated, taking with it thousands of jobs. The harbours is a fucking joke and a fiasco. I have information that one of the biggest reasons why the harbours is where they are is because the South African private sector made a decision to no longer take contracts with Transnet at the harbours. Why? Because Transnet don't pay them, or don't pay them on time. Then that minister, I'll use the word minister because the other is just swear words, she is something like a primary school teacher or fucking something. But she comes out and she makes a lot of statements around Transnet. And Transnet declares that they are now going to start an in-house training program for skills needed on the harbours. Imagine that. How long do you think it's going to take them? But the first question you should ask is, who's going to do the training work? Who will be in charge of the training? Because normally when you want to train people, you find a top-of-the-line best instructor you can get to train them. Okay, answer that question for yourself. But what happens in the meantime while they are training the people? And why is that now that there's a moose shortage of people, skills in Transnet? Because of BEE and affirmative action. Okay. Eskom. Fucked. Last year we had 335 days of load shedding. How the fuck was the economy operate under those conditions? And the people that are suffering the most is the small businesses. Now you must understand that small businesses is the backbone of most economies. Go and look what Singapore did for small businesses. Then go and look at Russia. How much effort the Russian government is putting into small businesses. Just for a start, if you're a small business in Russia, you pay 6% tax, flat rate, and that will be in place until your business reaches an annual turnover in South African rands of 17 million rand. Here in South Africa, you make 10,000 rand a month, the fuckers will take 70% of what you earn. But yes, keep on voting for them. Keep on voting for them. The health services. Be objective when you look at the health services and ask yourself, is that service from a government that cares for you? A party that cares for you? Let me stop with the ANC. Let's go to the EFF. The EFF is forever promoting violence, instigation and destruction. And they preach to their followers, which is bulk of them youngsters. They sit there in the pavilion, 50,000 of them, and they listen to that oak telling them to kill people. But they should actually look around themselves and think about those 50,000 people sitting there and ask themselves, how many of these people are actually employed? How many of these people can actually afford it to get their children educated? They've got a major problem because the ANC fucked the education system up totally. And they're now in their last drive to destroy the last functioning schools in the country with this Bella Bill. Then ask yourself, how many of the people sitting there with you will have 3 meals a day for him or her and their children? Ask yourself those things. Then ask yourself, that man screaming that he must go start killing people, how many jobs, how many projects has he spearheaded that turned into jobs for you people sitting there? And I can tell you now, fuck all, but yet you cheer for him. So Moses 6 verse 6, stupid people must suffer. But you sit there and you listen to these fuckers and then you go and you vote for these fuckers, and 2 days or a week after the fucking election you bitch about the lack of service delivery. Are you fucking stupid or what? They've proven to you that they can't deliver service, but yet you vote for them. And then you go and toy because they don't deliver services. For fuck's sakes. Then you look at the DA. They're sitting there and they're bragging about all their results, but they fucking lie to you bulk. Go and look in detail about these municipalities that they brag about. Go and look in detail. What the fuck is really going on there? But worst of all, look what they did to us, to the people during the pestilence. They're supposed to be the guys with the fucking brains. They led the drive to get you to take that poison. What does that tell you? That tells you XXX plan. One of their plans is reduce the population. But yet you sit here and you cheer them. Look at those people. Look at them. They're fucking filthy rich. They don't give a shit about the fact that you don't have food tonight on your table. But that's it. And then we have the UAM. People keep on sending me messages about the UAM. And I said, okay, for fuck's sakes, tell me. Just tell me this. That man can make a lot of noises and make a lot of screams and shouts and goes ballistic and so forth. Where is his economic recovery plan? Have you seen that plan? Then we have the Freedom Front Plus. My famous Vaseline gang is in charge there. During the past 10 days, they have revealed themselves explicitly, showing the fucking voters that they don't give a shit for the voters. They're even so, I don't know what the right word would be for it, but when there was a protest at their office in Centurion, they employed 3 security guards, 3 security companies, private security companies, and a few bouncers to protect their offices, and SA police was there with a nyala and more vehicles, and traffic department was there. All of that to protect them. Doesn't that look a lot like a dictatorship to you? But the demand was simple. That Vaseline gang must resign. They've been sitting there for 30 years and they did fuck all for the people. And they're fighting that. Ask yourself why. And then Peter Groenewald has the audacity to inform Wessel that if anybody steps over the line, they'll be arrested by SAPS. What the fuck is that? A party leader. All I want to know now that voters are aware of this shit, are those guys actually going to appear in public? Are they actually going to go to gatherings? I'm curious. I know that in my father's days, he would not fucking, that Groenewald wouldn't dare put his foot near fucking the people. The same with Mulder. He won't put his foot near the voters because they would bliksem them for sure. But we're living in 2024. It is the era of gangsters. Gangsters are the protected class in South Africa now. Political gangsters and criminal gangsters. They are so well protected. So let's get back to it. The whole election is about those seats. And those seats, I have told you what those seats actually mean. And then you are fucking surprised that they don't do anything for you. They tell you beforehand they're going to do fuck all for you. But you don't open your ears and listen to it. So, we've got the situation with the Patriotic Front, our Patriotic Alliance of Gayton McKenzie. At least Gayton doesn't make you believe bullshit. He gives you the facts and he tells you exactly what happened and what he plans to do and so forth. Let's put aside questions about his character and past and all of that. At least he's fucking honest when he stands on that stage. And now there's going to be followers who are going to send me fucking comments and tell me, I support Gayton and the Patriotic Alliance. Fuck man, I don't support them. I'm just giving you facts. So you better open your ears and listen to what these politicians are saying. And secondly, open your eyes and look around you of what they have done for you in the past 30 years. And then ask yourself if that is enough, and that's it. The reality is that there's a small, relatively small cabal, political animals, that has benefited tremendously over the past 30 years. But the bulk of the population are fucked. 28 million on SASSA, 35% unemployed. That is the things that you must look at when you're considering who to vote for. Now, the main reason why we have this balls up in our political system is because we, the voters, have got no fucking control or say over who the hell is going to land in those seats. That is the first and most prominent fuck up. We, the voters, do not have a say in who's going to sit in those seats. So, on the other hand of the scale, we have OHM, which are totally committed to identifiable representatives in Parliament. I like the idea. What will they achieve? I don't know. One thing is for sure, they will never have a 66% majority so that they can change the constitution to accommodate their dreams, because no other political party will ever fucking support them, because supporting them would mean that they're going to lose their seats. So, there we are. So, when you listen to these political leaders, you must ask yourself, what have that party done for me in the past 30 years? What are the chances that they're actually going to do something for me in the next 5 years? And then make your decision. I cannot tonight, with an open mind, tell you which party to look at favorably. because everything on that border is fucking shit, to put it mildly. Not a single one of them. Maybe the ACDP a little bit, not too tarnished, and I'm not so sure that the IFP is compromised heavily. But that's the political parties that is there. For the Boere, it is a major problem, because instinctively we felt like the Freedom Front Plus is the right place for us, but it is now quite clear it is definitely not the right place for us. They actually don't want us there. They actually don't want Boere in that party. That is what they've been saying to us clearly these past 10 days. The message came through loud and clear. So, what must we do? I personally believe that the government is on the verge of collapsing in any case. The shit-shot pack of Johnny, for me, all the parties that flocked to the DA in that pack, they have just signed suicide notes because the DA will swallow them. What the DA is aiming to do is to promote their brand. But here comes the question. Say, by some luck or miracle, that shit-shot pack gets control. What the fuck are they going to do with it? Point number one, between the ANC and the EFF, they'll make the country ungovernable. Secondly, the country is physically bankrupt. Thirdly, the country's infrastructure is fucked. Many of these things fucked beyond repair. The government service, the civil service, is fucked. Most of it beyond repair. And then there's that massive fucking debt that the ANC has accumulated. Now what will the shit-shot pack do when they're in control? It is like an airplane that is on fire over the Atlantic Ocean and you put a new pilot behind the seat. What the fuck will that help? That plane is going to crash. Doesn't matter who you put in that seat. You can put the air hostess in that seat. You can catch a passenger and put him in that seat. That plane is going down. That is South Africa. A plane over the Atlantic Ocean on fire. So it doesn't matter who the fuck the pilot is. The thing is going to ditch. Let that sink in. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.